Welcome to Stars of David, the only show that asks the question, why is this podcast different from all other podcasts? And I think the answer is in the question. What other podcast starts with that question?
Yes.
See how the answer is
oftentimes in our sort of society of this specific religion that we both are under, which is called Judaism.
Right.
The answer is often a question.
Right.
And the questions are never answered.
Here with me is the teller to my pen, the Abel to my Cain,
Oh, wow.
the sister I never had.
Okay.
Eli Leonard. Should we unpack those? Why are you the Abel to my Cain? I think it's because I want to kill you.
Yeah, maybe that's it, I guess. And you're the bad one.
Yeah, I'm the murderer.
Yeah, you're the bad guy.
Oh, no, you're always the good guy in the us equation. Yes. You're all, in every argument we have, you're right, you're the good guy. But why are you the teller to my pen? You know why.
Because I don't talk.
Right.
Because I
Just like a silent version of you would just be like, oh, I'm a chaya.
I did a number this weekend as chaplain where I didn't say a word, and
I bet that got more laughs
it did. Yeah, I got bigger laughs than I got
than when you speak.
Yeah.
Zach Sage Fox is our guest today. He is our star of David today, and he has a lot to say, and he's using his platform to say things that, why am I talking like Seinfeld again? He's using it to say things. There's two Seinfelds, you know. There's yelling Seinfeld. What do you mean? This is crazy. And then there's Jerry, who talks very slowly and emphatically, almost arrogantly, as if he knows more than you.
That's Jerry.
That's just Jerry?
That's Jerry.
I love Jerry.
Jerry. And then Jerry Seinfeld, or Seinfeld is yelling.
Is the yelling guy.
Or setting up the bits. That's Seinfeld setting up the bits.
Interesting. Anyway, Zach Sage Fox uses his voice for good. At least he tries to promote good and tries to promote, love and tolerance for all and equality and all the nice things, coexistence. I think that's his intentions. When he goes out and makes these videos, he has good intentions and delivers in a way that's really funny. And
we'll have to ask if that's what his intention is.
But I think he has good intentions. But also when you couch something like comedy, the best thing to do if you're trying to make a point is disguise it in jokes. Because when you're laughing,
it's great to disguise comedy in jokes.
No, a message.
I totally agree with that.
Disguise a message.
Sometimes I'd like the joke to poke through just in case someone wanted to understand it as comedy.
Right.
In my opinion.
If you're a Chris Rock and you're trying to make a point about racism in America, but it's the most brilliantly well-crafted, hilarious bit ever, you're so busy laughing, you don't realize, he's making a real point about American racism, and he's making a point about his own experience and what is so intolerable to him, which is, why do you hate me and my people for no reason? And then it's like, there he is, and you're laughing, but then you're getting the message, I didn't realize that's the way,
You have to go through the stages. You have to laugh, then you have to think, and then you have to feel.
Eli Leonard, should we start with what's going on in Eli's world? What is going on in Eli's world?
Dude, The Sopranos.
Is that new to you?
I love The Sopranos. It's always going on. It's not new to me.
Right.
No, it's actually something I do all the time, but it's always going on in my world.
Right.
I'm sort of always watching it, thinking about it, sort of wondering like, am I a bad guy? Because like this is sort of resonating.
Right.
I think about that constantly.
Right.
And then I like to do the little voices. Polly Walnuts. Christopher. Doing that kind of stuff. He says a lot of swear words, so I'm not going to do those swear words. But that, and then don't me you. Hey, you're the boss. You're the boss. There's that. There's Tony. That's sort of Tony.
Who's that?
Tony. He goes.
That's your Tony Soprano.
Yeah, that's my Tony Soprano. It's actually pretty accurate if you've seen the show. It's actually pretty accurate if you've seen the show. I pretty much have it uncanny. There's a lot of other characters too.
Right. And they're all going on in Eli's world.
Yes, constantly.
Do they know about this?
No, well, I haven't met any of them. If I did, I would tell them immediately. Unfortunately, a couple of them are now Bezrat Hashem, a couple of them have become admitted their birthday Hamamet, their memories become the blessings. So I can only tell them once I get into heaven, hopefully, which is, I don't know if that's something you even believe.
I understand.
But,
Yes. What's going on in your world?
Yes.
This show is about two of my favorite things, comedy and kvetching. And I think they're intertwined. I think there's a reason that so many comedians are Jewish, because to me, comedy, or at least stand-up comedy, is very much complaining with punchline.
For sure.
Kvetching is a big part of our show. And you know me, Eli. I don't mean to complain, but Persians.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I'm not complaining about Persians. Let me finish. I love Persians. I live in Westwood amongst the Persian people.
Dropped a hard P, though. I'll tell you that.
I will say that Persians, let me finish, when they make a bris, tend to not start at the time that the invite says, to a point of, listen to this, hour and 40 minutes. So my Persian friend, I'm not even going to say her name, she just has this beautiful baby boy. I'm so happy for them. I'm so excited. I'm going to be like, okay, and it's Sunday morning. Who wants to wake up on a Sunday morning to watch that?
The bris, yeah.
But you want to celebrate your good Persian friend, but then you go, oh, but Persians, they're late. So I go, okay, honey, we can get there 15 minutes late because they won't start for like a half hour. 1 hour and 40 minutes later. But here was the worst part.
Okay, sorry.
Food off limits until post-cutting. So now you're standing for an hour and 40 minutes. You're not eating.
The spread was out?
Out and about.
Oh, no.
And beautiful.
Oh, and then so you're smelling it as it sort of
smelling,
decays.
looking, trying to
Yeah.
taste, and there's people swatting your hands.
Oh my
if you even reach for, let's say, a kiwi, maybe a kiwi. This is for the guest. I am a guest. After the cutting, after we cut the baby, after we cut the baby, you get to eat the kiwi.
Right.
And I was like, so we're just going to stare at food for 2 hours on a Sunday morning? I could not believe that. So again, I don't mean to complain, but let's get it together.
For just sort of the Persian people with timing.
And the brisses, specifically.
So you're saying there's PPT, there's Persian people time.
Yes.
And it's
yes, PPT.
Yeah.
Yes, PPT. And, listen, I'm just saying the next time, or allow eating during the waiting.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Start whenever you want.
Allow leaving.
What do you come to a bris for?
Yeah.
Eating and cutting. Eating and cutting. There's a lot of Jerry in this episode.
Yeah.
We'll send this to him. All right. Well, that's my complaint. And send in yours, won't you? Make a voice note and do it. We do a thing called CNA, Complaints and Answers. You complain, we answer. And send that to our Stars of David pod Instagram. Just DM it. Just voice note it. Or even write it out. Whatever you want. We'll address it. Okay. Well, his name is Zach Sage Fox, and he's here, and I'm so excited that he's here. And I've been a fan of yours. Welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Well, you'll see in a minute. I don't really let anyone talk. I just sort of talk and they nod. No, we really want to hear your voice today. But I've been a fan of yours since the moment you just became this sort of phenomenon and this viral sensation where everything you put out just gets shared by everyone because it's hilarious and it's impactful. It's like you're speaking truth with jokes. My favorite thing to do is tell a joke that also sends a message and tells people what they really need to know, as this is the truth about this or that or, anything. You do that better than ever. When did that start? Because I think I just found you 8-9 months ago. And how? And what was the journey of oh my God, I need to do this?
Yeah. I started super young. So I feel like all the Jews know who I am now, but I've been a commodity for a while, but really popped off this year.
But is it weird? Because a year ago, you weren't that known. Is it weird? How are you handling this celebrity?
Yeah, okay, so let me backtrack a little bit because it's like I've been around for a while. So I had a couple million followers on TikTok. I had a big
Oh,
Disney Channel prank show for a long
oh,
time. Okay, so yeah, I like knew what I wanted to do at a really young age. I was like, comedy was a little bit of a defense mechanism. I was like the funny fat kid, and it was like start off, I'm gonna beat kids to the joke. If I can make a fat joke before they do, then like I've won. Screw you. And then I ended up getting an eating disorder, and then it was the same thing. It's like, okay, I'll make a joke about how skinny I am first. And this all happened before middle school. So like I really came into stand up around 13, 14 years old. I'm from Philadelphia, started performing at Helium Comedy Club. I don't know how the hell they let me do it. I was so young, but I had a lot of great jokes under me. Again, I had like literally had a bar mitzvah, then I went to rehab, then I started doing stand up all in middle school.
that's an act.
So I got my yeah, I had a great act ready to go. It's funny, like I'm really a product of the changing landscape. So like, all my idols are these big Jewish comics. Like, I grew up super Jewish. I went to 8 years of Jewish day school right up until high school. My father, is like in Chabad. Like, I really grew up super Jewish.
Love Chabad.
But, my mom's more Reformed. So it's sort of a balance. Like, I wouldn't identify with that, but like, I'm somewhere maybe, I don't know, somewhere in the middle, which probably is why my videos also play to a pretty broad Jewish audience, because I relate to the Chabad world, but I also am, like I eat, I was kosher until I went to rehab, actually. And then my rabbi at the time was like, hey, you can do whatever you want. Now God just wants you to get fatter. It's okay. Eat what you need to. And then I had bacon and shrimp, and I was like, oh, fuck that. I'm never going back.
That's what happened to Paul, the Apostle Paul. Also, he was like, forget this Judaism thing. We want bacon. And
yeah.
I
was like, I love my religion, but like if God loves me as much as I love him, then like he wants me to taste these really good things. But so then I get out of rehab. I start doing stand up, and I'm like literally in 8th grade. And then right at the exact same time I start doing that, YouTube really starts becoming a thing. This is like 2007, 2008. And so me and my best friend, who I knew from Jewish day school, we met when we were 6. His name's Omri Durrani. He's my best friend. And we went to elementary school together. And he's Israeli. We decided, so our mom sent us to the same fat camp. Is our origin story, like a real, like whole summer wait. Like by the way, the movie Heavyweights was based off of the camp, was our camp. It was called Camp Shane. Yeah. So anyway, so we go to fat camp together. So like we're from Philadelphia. I didn't know anybody who wanted to be in entertainment. No one. And so I meet this kid who wants to also, direct and run a production company. And he's more introverted. I'm an attention whore. It was like this meeting of the minds. And so we were like, dude, let's start a production company called Fat Camp Films one day. And I go and start doing stand up, and then everyone's talking about YouTube. And it really had come out pretty much right. It came out the summer we were at Fat Camp, 2006. And then eventually we started a YouTube channel, and then those clips started getting pretty big, especially in the tri-state area where we were from. So by the time I was 17 years old, I got a development deal with Disney Channel.
Holy
moved
cow.
out to Los Angeles. Yeah. So I was super young. I was very ambitious, went to New York, won this big talent competition called the IMTA for the acting category.
So that's so cool. And that leads us to the 3 W's. What are you working on now? Which is the first of the 3 W's. What are you working on?
Oh, so many cool projects. So my company's really multimedia, so it's super fun. But we have our film and TV division, and then we have our branded content digital division. We have a full-length feature that we're in development with a really big Oscar-winning producer right now to try to turn a lot of the type of Israel videos I've been doing to try to solve peace in the Middle East into a longer form feature-length film. Really excited about that.
What are you worried about?
I think my biggest worry is, and you see it in my content, is, Gen Z and how misinformed they are about reality. Clearly TikTok is a major thing I worry about. Like there is something in that algorithm that is actively trying to suppress pro-Israel, but it's not pro-Israel is not even the lead of the algorithm. They're trying to hurt the West. And so anything that sort of represents Western values, I mean, again, I have like 1.2 million followers on TikTok. Since I started posting about Israel, my videos views plummeted.
It's insane.
And by the way, I know Instagram's not perfect, X isn't perfect, but we're dealing with a problem as Jews that are just antithetical to the algorithms because we're such a small people. So it's hard to get that initial momentum to get a video viral. But there's not like suppression against the West or Jews within those, whereas TikTok is a real issue. And so I go on the streets and, you know, I interview these pro-Palestinian, which most of them are really pro-Hamas, a lot of these kids. Some of it's based on true malice, but most of it's just misinformation. I mean, I swear to God, 99% of the time when I'm interviewing these kids, none of them know that Israel left Gaza in 2005.
Right.
Like, which is like, if you don't know that and you're running around chanting for the death of Israel, like, you didn't do any research on this.
Now, I want to talk about how you went to Israel several times in the last year, right?
No, I actually went one trip since 10/7, and I just shot like 15 videos in 5 days. And I have more stuff coming out, by the way. I think I've only released like half.
So one of the ones you made, you went into the West Bank, and what people don't realize how dangerous that is. Did you feel unsafe when you went there?
But asked this question so many times. I learned that I am a little nuts. I was not scared in the moment, but I think I knew I'm somebody who doesn't get that afraid in those kind of situations. And so it's one of the reasons I felt I should go. I was so pissed off journalists hadn't been going, especially when, by the way, I didn't plan to do that on my trip. The opportunity was brought to me by my Israeli producers when I was there to pair me up with a Muslim team to go there. And they really felt like, because my name doesn't sound Jewish, I'm not saying I didn't have zero fear, but basically shit hit the fan when... So I filmed an interview with an alleged terrorist for about an hour and a half. So we do that. That was coordinated by my producer. And then we hit the streets and we really were out there for less than an hour before, we maybe our fifth interview, and just asking questions really upset a bunch of Palestinian men. I mean, and keep in mind, I hid that I was Jewish. I really didn't seem like biased. I think you see my interviews, I'm pushing against them, but I'm not like throwing it in their face. I tried to be relatively nuanced with my questions, but also I wasn't going to go in there and give them softballs. So even when stuff started hitting the fan and the Palestinian men, you can see it in the video. Did you see the follow-up video? You can actually see it on camera. They start cornering us. They shut the cameras off. And what happened off camera was about 10 minutes, they started screaming in Arabic at us that we were, that one, we were interviewing a woman and that we shouldn't let her give her opinion.
Wow.
Two, that what side are you on? But, and we're at like, you can tell that they haven't had anybody penetrate their bubble. The fact that I'm even asking questions and slightly pushing against it really infuriated them. And so it went from my translator, my cameraman saying, okay, they really want the footage deleted. It was a little like an episode of Curb, a really screwed up episode of Curb. I'm sitting there like, at first, not sitting, I'm standing there like, yeah, no, I'm okay. It's my footage. I'm good. Thank you very much. Tell them I appreciate their concern, but I'm good. It's my footage. And then they start screaming more. And then my translator's like, no, you really have to delete it. They're saying they're going to hurt us if we don't delete it. And I'm like, that's okay. We're good. We'll go to another area. Let's go. Come on, guys. And then they grab, and they start screaming in Arabic more. And then it turns into, okay. And then my cameraman, I remember this vividly. I'll never forget this. He grabs my wrist and he looks me in the eyes and he's like, they're threatening to kill us if we don't delete this footage.
Wow. And
at that point, I have this crazy thing where I wasn't that scared, but all of a sudden I was like, I'm paying these people. This isn't, I can't let them get hurt because of this. You know what I mean? Like these
Your
people
crew,
are on my dollar.
Yeah.
They're my crew. Yeah.
Right.
And they're all Muslim. They're threatening. By the way, they're threatening to kill the Muslims for associating with somebody like who doesn't completely 100% love and support Hamas, which is just batshit. But so at that point, I caved. I was just like, well, I'm not going to let these people die. Fortunately, thank God, my plan was to delete what was just on the screen in front of them. So they saw 3 intros we had just shot and then the video with that girl that they had seen. And I'm praying that they didn't see we were deleting more. They had just showed up for that interview. I didn't know if they had seen that we were out for about an hour before. So I didn't know any of that. Luckily, they weren't smart enough or tech savvy enough to know that there were more videos than just what they could see me delete right in front of them. So I delete that.
They weren't like, go to recently deleted also. You got to go to recently deleted.
Exactly. Yeah, luckily. Then I would have probably gone home crying. And the crazy thing is I should have. So then we fled the West Bank.
Nothing worse than almost dying and you don't get the footage. That's the worst thing.
Yeah. So I should have been afraid. I was also just so pissed that I lost that interview with that girl because you saw it. It's like, it's an important video. I really think that video is the perfect
Yes.
representation of what we're dealing with, which is, by the way, I don't even hate that girl. I feel bad that she's been indoctrinated. She's sitting there in designer clothing, telling me she lives in a nice house. She's an engineer. She has money. She has this nice life, but she's a refugee and she hates Jews. And Hamas is awesome and the Jews are everything. I'm like, you have been tricked into, rather than enjoying, like, and she's like, I'm a refugee from Haifa, which is like 15 minutes over there. It's like, why? And by the way, I'm in Ramallah, the center of Ramallah. It's a little less nice when you first get in, but then when you actually get to the main, it's nicer than a lot of parts of Tel Aviv. So I'm just sitting there like, it's so unfair that these people have been indoctrinated to hate rather than build love in their own community and their own lives. And so I just felt that interview was so important. And I got home that night, or not home, but to my hotel, and I posted about what had happened. I felt like from a journalistic standpoint, the fact that I went to the West Bank and almost died.
That's a story.
I thought that was kind of important to let the world know about. Yeah. So I get back to my hotel, I post about that, and some people messaged me that you actually can get footage back. So, you know, it was about 3 months. The video had come out already, and I had given up hope. I spent a bunch of money to try to get the footage back. I went through 1 million cyber hackers, nothing. And then eventually there was someone who had reached out to me after the video had come out. And I was hesitant to even send them the drive because I just didn't want any more hope. I was just like, I felt like God wanted me to have that footage back. And then when I didn't get it, I was just kind of like, all right, he had a different plan. I told the story on the news. That's great. If people believe me, great, but maybe they won't. And then when we got the footage back, it was just like, I don't know any other way to explain it except for destiny, fate. It
is destiny, because that message, what you were portraying is that look at what we're up against. We're up against a combination of ignorance and hatred. It's such a dangerous combination. All right, it's time for the 4 questions. Are you ready for this? What's your favorite Jewish holiday?
That's a good question. You know, it's a weird answer. I like Yom Kippur. One, having had an eating disorder, I'm so good at it.
It's perfect.
I'm like one day of not eating, dude. I didn't eat for 2 years. No, but 2, I don't know. I just find it to be a very meaningful holiday. Like I don't know. There's something about just sitting in synagogue and like really, really reflecting. Like, I don't know. I just find it to be I feel very cleansed after that holiday.
Couldn't agree with you more. I feel so good during and after, even though my stomach's aching and all that. I feel so good just having a day to cleanse your soul. You bring up the disorder a lot because it's a big part of your life. Can you help the young folks out there, give them a little word of how you got through it, what got you through it, and how you got through it?
No, I love that you asked me about that. Honestly, I try to be an advocate, especially because there's not many men who talk about it publicly. And so I would say, you know, what is an eating disorder? It's like a lot of disorders. It's really a perfectionism disorder. And so, you know, when you build that level of perfectionism inside of your head, it's hard to completely get rid of it. And I think part of the struggle that a lot of people have is they go and think, well, I'm going to just get rid of this sense of control that I need to have over my life. And that's how my eating disorder will go away. Where I think one of the best things you can do is if you can channel that energy, that perfectionism into something that's not destructive to you physically and emotionally, you really can do it. So for me, actually, starting to make these videos, starting my career, I mean, I literally went from starting to do stand up and then starting to make videos and having that outlet. I mean,
it's not just the outlet. It's also let me perfect my craft and not my body necessarily.
If you can find something else to perfect that's healthy, because perfectionism is not necessarily a problem.
Right.
It's that when you're applying it to your body like that, I mean, then it's like you're withering away. And so you have to be able to give up some of that control.
So what is the one like actual practical advice that someone who's struggling with that can actively do to change things right away?
Well, one, you need to get help immediately. Like, you're never going to be able to get rid of it on your own, ever, 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 ever. If you're under 18, you're lucky. Because if you're like the situation I was in, your parents really can put you in, you know, inpatient and then outpatient, and they can really make sure that you eat. And that sounds weird, but like when I got back from rehab. Yeah, I missed the first 3 months of my 8th grade. And I came back and I literally had to have supervised lunch with like the guidance counselor. And then I had a small relapse in high school, and I had to then have my mom come out, and I had to eat lunch with her in the car. And that was one of the things that got me over. It was just like, you're like, this is being so disastrous on my life. Like my like your parents are able to put that kind of pressure on you to heal. And so one, you're really lucky if there. So if that, you have to seek guidance. It's really hard, but if you're a parent watching this with a kid who has an eating disorder, you even have more power, right? To really just make sure your kid actually starts eating. Because once you start eating again, too, part of the disorder is that then you start, like the way we're talking about, you feel lightheaded on Yom Kippur, you start that up for a long time, your brain actually starts getting distorted. It's not getting enough nutrients. And so, one, just eating alone is an act that will get you closer, putting back on that weight at a healthy level. You're going to start thinking more normally again. And if you're over 18, you have to give your power to God and the universe and the people around you who love you, because you're going to have to figure out some system where you can start getting into more normal eating habits. That's step one. And then step two, to me, really is channel that perfectionism. You don't have to get rid of that demon inside you completely. You just have to make sure that it becomes an angel instead of a demon. Perfectionism is not necessarily a bad thing. I took that energy and I applied it to my career, and I'm 30 years old. I run a big production company. I'm happier than ever.
I love the idea of pushing the demon and turning him into an angel. That was so nice. I hope that any young people or parents are listening. And
I came up with that on the spot. It sounded good when I said it too.
No, it really was. Listen, you didn't just come up with it, you lived it. I mean, it seems to be how you healed. All right, so now here's a more fun question. Question number 2. I love finding out this about people because everyone has a vice. What is your vice?
I mean, I'm the biggest stoner ever. Like,
Okay.
I literally took a couple hits of my weed. I took a couple hits of my weed pen before I went to the West Bank. Like, just like, why not? I like weed.
You needed to go in there a little chill.
I don't really do any drugs besides weed.
Good.
I'm not a big drinker. I can't. Like, I literally throw up if I drink more than like 2 or 3 drinks. So I like keep that at a minimum. I don't have too many. I'm pretty well adjusted, honestly.
Good for
I
you.
think one of the ways I've keep up with this year. It's one of the reasons I do stand up. I love stand up, and I do shows whenever I can book a big venue. But for me, one of the reasons I personally don't love doing stand up all the time is I find most comics actually are quite depressed and aren't really working on their depression outside of their act. And I'm a super happy, well-adjusted guy. I'm in therapy every week. Coming out of COVID, I did twice a week just to keep myself in check. So I don't know. Mental health is like super.
Therapy to your happiness?
100%. Yeah.
Really?
I always tell this to be like, yeah, I mean, I was really lucky. Like, not lucky, but the fact that I went to rehab and had this big eating disorder at such a young age, like, I really, like, I was doing the work towards having a really sound mental health, from a young age. And yeah, like, I don't know. Are you in therapy? Like, I think everybody should be.
I am against therapy the way I am against acting lessons. If you get the wrong guy or gal, you're really screwed. So I never wanted to have an acting teacher. I was like, what if they teach me the worst methods? And what if the therapist is batshit crazy himself or herself and starts espousing this and say, I don't trust, you know what I mean? Anyone to give my career or mental health with. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I actually would say the opposite.
Yeah, apparently I'm wrong.
They're crappy therapists.
Yeah, that may be how you've ended up with
my issues,
the career you have, and the issues you have. Yes,
wow.
Not using health.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Yeah,
are you a happy guy?
What? I am such a happy guy, and I'm so grounded in like family and Judaism. I really don't feel like I need it. I battled with slight OCDs that I really worked on for years to get rid of, but not with a therapist, just with me talking to myself going, hey, what you're doing now, you got to stop it. It's just not making any sense and not helping anybody. But that takes years to talk yourself through. Yeah. Maybe a therapist could have done it in 2 weeks. I don't know. What?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without therapy, like good therapy. When I started doing more of these videos where I'm really confronting anti-Semites, I specifically saw a therapist in conjunction with my normal therapist that focused on anti-Semitism.
Wow, a therapist who specializes in Eli, you need that.
I do. That actually sounds good. I do love my therapist, though. I don't know if I think he's pretty good with it. Quite
But he doesn't specialize
I
in
don't know. I mean, I think after dealing with the amount of anti-Semitism that I bring to him from myself, I think he's become an expert. I think
Nice.
yeah, I think he's become a double doctor.
I'm the biggest advocate of therapy. I think therapy's great,
good.
and I think therapy's even good to do. Like I'll give you an example. Like today, I didn't have many like big pressing issues in my therapy session, but that's great because it means you have the opportunity to dig even deeper. You know, I was like doing some inner childhood work, some connective stuff. But I don't know. Everybody's different. I had a super like chaotic upbringing. Like my parents had a very long, like 10+ year divorce and a really bad marriage before that. I mean, I'm super close with both of them now, but like I definitely had a lot of work to work on. But I think most people therapy can usually only help. I mean, I think there's more good therapists than bad therapists.
I agree.
And if you're not connecting with a therapist, you try another one. Like
I agree.
but
My other problem and why I didn't want to go to a therapist is I have a really bad memory. And when he or she would say, tell me about your childhood, I'd be like, I don't remember. And not that I blocked it out. It's just that I have a bad memory. I don't remember what happened 5 years ago. I don't remember what happened 50 years ago. I don't remember things. I have these little, tiny, quick, vivid images and things that happen. I don't remember anything. I was trying to remember what my Shabbos dinners were like as a kid with my parents because I'm looking at my kids going, this is so beautiful and they love it so much. And we're all just laughing. I'm like, did we all just laugh like this? Did we all have this much fun in our little kitchen in the Bronx? I don't know. And I can't remember. So the therapist is going to be like, tell me more about your childhood. I'll be like, I don't remember. What am I supposed to do now at this point? Right?
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Who will?
The therapist.
Without giving any examples of childhood
They'll figure out what to do with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they do.
You think I should get therapy?
No doubt. No doubt in my mind.
What about me needs to be fixed that I must have
I didn't say you need fixed. I think you need therapy.
Because it will do what?
Wonders.
To me?
Yeah.
Which will affect you how?
I would like to jump in here.
Okay.
He's jumping in. Zach, our guest is jumping in.
Positively.
Go ahead.
No, because you're not thinking about therapy correctly. You're like, what problems do I have to talk? Like everybody, and that's living on this earth, all 8 billion people are dealing with struggles weekly, daily, by the hour, just of being a human that comes with struggles. And so I don't think people should look at therapy as necessarily like, I have this huge thing and I'm going to go fix it and then I'm gone. Like, you know,
right.
Like,
you don't have to be like, have a real mental disorder to go to therapist. That's for sure.
No, I think, but not even that. It's like, I think therapy is more just like, you know, the way you go to the gym and you you keep up with it. And so you're just,
that's a perfect analogy. You're working out your brain and I like that.
I don't know. Listen, I interview literally like people who want to kill me on the streets every day and who hate Jews and everything. And I'm this happy. And I give that credit to.
You don't need a therapist. You need a bodyguard.
I also have bodyguards when we do our videos. On
right.
it.
Of course. Eli Leonard with the third question.
Okay. Have you seen Big Daddy?
What?
Oh my God, like a million fucking years ago. Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie, right?
It's one of Sandler's least funny movies.
That's not true. It's one of my favorites. But he's seen it.
Okay. That's the number one of the funny, hilarious Sandler from Zohan to Happy.
Yeah, but I'm assuming he's seen those. Yeah.
I almost
my
said
favorite.
Happy Gilmore.
It's my favorite.
All right. You know
I'm a
what?
big fan of Adam Sandler. I wish he spoke up more this year. Or at all.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and I'll always
disappointed.
I'll always be disappointed that he didn't, but I will always defend him that he doesn't need to speak out because the way he speaks out is through his art and his comedy, and by being a great example of a beautiful Jew and a Zionist. You know, you can't make the Zohan without going, hey, I love Israel, I love Israelis. You can't, you know, he goes on Howard Stern and he has said, I don't get all the hatred for Israel. So he actually has spoken out, but recently in the year he's been silent. So I'm so conflicted where I'm disappointed because I'm like, everyone should be speaking out, but not everyone speaks out by yelling. Or not everyone speaks out by making funny videos in the West Bank. Not everyone speaks out differently. So he is speaking out through his, Jewish pride. He does the Hanukkah song. He does the Zohan. It's like, to me, it's the Chabad version of Judaism, which I love because it's all about just positivity. It doesn't harp on the negative. Sandler doesn't want to talk about anti-Semitism because that's not how he expresses himself.
I'll give you the counter argument. That's why we're losing the PR war. But
yeah,
conversation
I
Like, we
agree.
have so many Jews in Hollywood with these massive platforms and following, and they're just silence about the rapid rise in
It's
anti-Semitism.
insane to me, and it's actually infuriating because it's not just
You
Sandler;
don't
it's
have to
so
do
many.
that much. Like Seinfeld made this his his cause. But
No,
like he's
but he-
spoken. He speaks
yeah.
at the moment where it's appropriate, and that's enough.
Show some
enough.
solidarity with your own community.
And all these Hollywood Jewish celebrities who have made their entire careers off being Jewish have nothing to say about the rapid rise of anti-Semitism in this country and on college campuses. Nothing.
Right. So
Like,
that's
what was the point of their ancestors fleeing the pogroms and the Holocaust to come here to give them a Jewish voice if they weren't going to use it? What was the point?
wow. Did we? Oh, and the final fourth question: who inspires a Zach Sage Fox?
Growing up, a lot of my idols, I would say, like my biggest idols were all Jews. Like Sasha Baron Cohen was probably my like top inspiration as a kid. Like that, I saw Borat when I was like 12, and it really cemented what I wanted to do. Like I knew I wanted to be in entertainment. You know, I was like watching a lot of movies and shows. Like I always knew I wanted to be that. But when I saw Borat just interacting with real people, I just knew I wanted to do some version of that with my career. And so I would say he was probably my biggest inspiration growing up, Sasha Baron Cohen. Like I really just the comedy that you could create with reality, I just was drawn to. And it really changed, I think, my career trajectory in terms of just like, oh, I don't just want to act and I don't just want to do stand up. I actually want to go and engage with people. And I started building that muscle.
Thank you, Zach Sage Fox. You are a force. You're a force of nature. What have we learned, folks? I need therapy. Thank you, Zach. You the man.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys. Keep following me. You can follow me at Zach Sage and Zach Sage Fox on X.
Trust me, if you enjoy laughing and Jews, you will love it. Follow him. Welcome back, everybody. We are with my favorite part of the show and my favorite people, Mom and Dad, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Mom and Dad. Sid and Lynn Gold, everybody.
Hello.
It's Malka.
Shalom.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Malka and
Shlomo.
and Sid.
Malka and Sid.
Right. But isn't it interesting that you're Malka, which means queen in Hebrew, and he's Shlomo, who's a famous king, Shlomo HaMelech. So it's
Well, that's
Shlomo
why we're the
HaMelech.
king and queen.
You are the king and queen of what? We'll never know. What does that mean for my inheritance, by the way? Is there anything that does it make me a prince? Am I anything if you're the king and
Yes,
queen?
You must be Prince
You're
Dion.
an heir of nothing.
I'm an heir of nothing. Thank you, Mom. That is the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
That has made this entire podcast
Worth
project
it.
Worth it. to
That's
hear
it.
that.
To
Yeah.
hear my mother say to me, "You're an heir of nothing." You know,
Yeah.
Dad, your dad. I'll never forget this. He left you a lamp. That was it. I'll never forget that. I was like, "Well, Dad, what's your inheritance now? What do you get?" He must have had real estate somewhere. He must have had something. No. See this lamp? Zadie is giving us this lamp. He had nothing.
Where is that lamp? I don't even remember.
It's in Vacation Village.
Village.
Mark Schiff once told me a great joke. And when I told him the story, he goes, "You should do that in your act." And he goes, "You could say all he had." He said the only thing left was a lamp, so he could turn it on to see how little he had, which is like a fun, nice little,
beautiful.
sort of a beautiful, sad, but
Yeah.
beautiful, but sad. Anyway, the lamp is. We have the lamp still, Dad. So I don't want anything from you but your love and your presence. That's all I want from you. I can be an heir of nothing. I'm happy to be an heir of nothing.
No, you inherited his integrity, his
Wow.
honesty,
Thank you.
and his love.
Verdreinigkeit cup.
For the cup. Okay, is that the Yiddish word of the day? Of the week?
No, the Yiddish word of the day is bench.
Oh, bench.
Bench.
Yes.
Can we go back to Verdreinigkeit cup mean? What does that mean again? What does that mean?
Don't make me crazy. Don't make my head crazy. Literally.
Whatever. Okay, what's bench? And let's go to bench.
Okay, we'll go to bench. So bench is the Yiddish word of the day. Now, bench also means, like in Hebrew, it's a grace after meals thing. There's a Yiddish bench word?
Bench means bless.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Okay, so like, is there a song that you could use?
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is a song.
Mom, you
Okay.
usually give a little history of the word and then Dad sings.
All right. So he will sing the Yiddish version of Irving Berlin's song, God Bless America.
God bench America. God
So
bench America.
This is a continuation of when the Jews were driven out of their shtetl.
She always
their
reminds us of
home,
when we're and where we were driven out of. Yes.
they came to America and they loved America.
You ever
Irving
American?
Jews have
Berlin-
never been to a drive-in. We're so busy we had to drive out. They're driving us out. No, you should go to this movie. The drive-in? No, we don't know from drive-ins. We're driven out always.
So this is a continuation history after they were driven out of Europe by the Tsar
Right.
in Russia, and they came to America. And even though they were homesick, but they loved America, and especially Irving Berlin,
Yeah.
who wrote
Who wrote the song about blessing
how
America?
much-
A nice
how much
Jewish
he
man.
loved America.
Wrote his tribute, loving, beautiful tribute to America. How did it go, Dad? How's it go?
Well, I'm doing it in Yiddish now.
Yes.
I mean,
what I want.
why did we? What are we paying you for?
This is not the
I'm not
English.
paying
This is
you.
not the English word of the day, and it
It's
never
not
has.
the English
And I'll
word.
just say that it never has been.
It's never been
Never
the
been.
English word of the day.
Yeah.
Why would you sing it in English? Go ahead.
Gott bencht Amerika, Land, wo sich lieb, steh je bei ihr, madrig sei ihr, überlacht das Strach und so lieb, von die Berges zu die Präges, bis die Miamen weiß mit Schäum. Gott bencht Amerika, mein süßer Heim. Gott bencht Amerika, mein süßer Heim.
Wow, that was incredible. You didn't quite stick the landing, but you know what I mean? I was expecting a little more at the end. The end note's the big note, and you
But
kind of bailed on it.
The journey was
But
so
the
beautiful.
journey was beautiful.
Oh.
Okay.
We didn't expect, Eli, did you expect anything more than the word bench to
Bench.
be Yiddish? I thought
What's
it'd be
ex-
God bench America.
Land.
You did the whole thing in Yiddish.
That was beautiful.
That was
Let me-
incredible.
I never
do
really
it
thought
line
that
by
would make me
line.
emotional.
It made me happy.
Wait. Let me do it line by line, and you'll see
don't think we
how
have
it's the
time
exact
for-
translation. The Yiddish is the exact
Maybe we'll
translation.
go-
Right,
of Irving
because of
Berlin.
God bless America,
God
and then
bless
land that I
America.
love,
Right.
stand beside her
Yes.
and guide her.
So
what are you saying?
Well, she's just going to say the same thing, but in Yiddish.
But Yiddish. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You say in your
Bench Amerika.
So that's
So
that,
you're
that must
sort of
be
doing it again.
God bless America.
America.
Ich lieb,
land that I love.
That I love, right? Okay,
steh je bei ihr.
Stand
stand beside her, right? Okay,
And we're getting a translation, I see.
And guide
and guide her, right?
No one knows the lyrics to this song.
Überlacht das Stella.
Going through this again. Just,
Through the night with the light from above.
Oh my God,
I didn't know. That
Yeah,
lyric
no,
I
no,
forgot.
yeah.
I did
Von
forget that
die
lyric.
Berge
From the mountains.
Mountains to the prairie.
Prayer.
Is there an
the
ocean
prairie.
somewhere?
No, it's coming. Miming.
bis die Armen
Is the
To
Yami.
the ocean.
Ocean. I knew there was
weiß
an
mit
ocean.
Scheu.
White with foam.
Gott
Mhm.
bench Amerika.
God bless
Mein
America.
Bench America.
süßer Heim.
I think you know that. Take it.
Right.
Gott
Take it from
bench
here.
Amerika.
God bless America.
We should end.
Take it. Everybody, sing it.
It's
You have a lot of problems with just the endings.
It's
the
so
whole
cute.
song
It's
is
such
perfect.
a tough note to hit.
It's such a tough note to hit.
But no, I think you did pretty well.
I think it was
Honestly,
amazing until the
I did
very
fairly
last
well.
second.
I'll give myself a B plus.
No,
Yeah.
it was definitely an
But
A.
you-
The A plus would have been if you landed better at the end. Could we work on the end?
No,
Give it a
no.
big. What's the final word?
Hey.
What?
Home.
Yeah, give it a like.
Home, sweet home.
But give it one of those. You know what I
Oh.
mean? You're going like and then it putters out.
Right. Do it. No, so do it together. Do it.
Gott bench Amerika.
Everybody.
Mein süßer
Uh,
Heim. Gott
No.
bench
Join in.
I
Amerika.
want to hear this.
Mein süßer Heim.
Every time. I think
No.
it's a key. I think you've got to bring it down a key in order
No.
to really belt it out. You're not
Oh,
belting.
it
You're
was
fading.
so
You're
wonderful.
not- I want to hear
Bring it
belting at
down.
the end.
Nothing is
I
better than
can't take the
having
rest
it
of it.
end
Fine.
exactly.
I
like
loved
that.
it. Eli says it's perfect. I think you need to
It's
work on the
perfect.
ending, but I still love both of you. Thank you, guys. And what a great word, blessed. And you should be blessed. And America should be
And so
benched.
should you.
Blessed.
We be benched as we go on our way.
May we be benched. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I love
And
you.
Elon,
So should
Elon, wait, let's
Oh, there's
end
more.
with this.
Okay, we're out of time.
Every
but-
time I think of a blessing, I think of how you bless your children.
That's true. Every Friday night, I bless
you
them.
put your hand.
I put my hands over
on
their
their-
head,
Yes.
and I give them a
Go
nice,
ahead.
beautiful bracha, beautiful
Menashe.
blessing, for a good, happy
Ephraim Menashe.
Ephraim Menashe. You know the blessing.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever blessed? Have you ever been blessed? Did Todd Leonard?
No, Beth did.
Oh, Todd opted out of
No,
the blessing?
spiritually, Todd was always blessing, but I just don't think he had the words.
Oh, I see. But Beth knew the words, and she actually blessed you. That's so beautiful.
Sometimes I'm not sure if it was always.
No, but a lot. And
not
that's
even
that's the
positive
thing I
about it.
recommend. It's such a bonding moment between kids
when we
and
were
parents.
at other people's houses, they would bless
just
the
to
kids, and then my parents would
be like,
put their
"Oh,
hands on me.
oh, we should do this too."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't have many memories from my youth, just like you.
Yeah. Well, for the record, they didn't bless me ever
Oh my gosh!
with the hands. They didn't know about it.
Right.
Right. You never blessed me with the hands.
The benching of the
benching of the
children only came later.
Yeah. You blessed me
No,
in
I didn't know about
other
that.
ways. Yeah, but we didn't know about that, and that's why the first time I saw it, I said, "I'm doing this with my kids." There's two things I
Yes.
wish you did.
And you
I have
do
no
it
regrets.
every
You were the
Friday
perfect
night.
parents. Two things you could have done better. You could have blessed me, and you could have taught me Yiddish, or we wouldn't need this segment.
Right.
But this gives you something to do now. So now you
Oh,
can
that's true. We really don't know how
Truly.
else to end these episodes. So thank you, Mom and Dad. We love you, and we will see you next time. What a show that was, huh?
What a show.
That was a show. I mean, right? My parents.
What's Taka?
Taka? Really?
Oh, that was really a show.
Yeah, that was
that was
Taka
really a
show.
show. Taka.
And Zach, he's a dynamic kid. But my takeaway from him is that it's when I saw myself as a young 20s, he just turned 30, where it's like you just want a lot of things. And the difference between people who want a lot of things and then become and make something of themselves and people who don't is you can't just want. So the first thing to do is identify what you want out of this world, out of life, out of your profession, out of your marriage, and then it's work at it. So I see him as a guy that's doing both. He's like, here's what I want to do, and I'm going to work my tuchus off, goes to Israel, and then spends every minute filming and this and that, and it's like,
I'd just like to say, Zach, I'd love to book you on any show,
Right.
ever, because I know you only do to big crowds. So I'd love
Right.
for you to do stand up at my show.
because then a big crowd will come.
Maybe.
Speaking of coming to your show,
What about it?
if you haven't been to Eli Leonard's show, I'm not kidding. I joke a lot about this Eli stuff. Eli's one of the best, and his show is so entertaining. I think it's like an hour and 50 minutes of just cracking up, and it's called
It's called Good Show.
Showbiz.
Yeah.
And it's seen where?
Oh, I guess it is an exciting announcement. I am doing another run of it in December on, let's see, that's the 26th, 27th, and maybe the 28th.
Right.
I know we have a show, so
Right.
I'm not sure exact, but definitely the 26th
When
and
you
7th.
say it's an exciting announcement,
At
really
the
just-
Elysian Theater.
At the Elysian Theater in Los Angeles. It's really only exciting to you, let's be honest, and those who get lucky enough to see it. It's not a generally exciting announcement.
Not yet.
Right.
No, okay, it's
You
exciting for
preface
me.
it like, this is an exciting announcement, and then everyone's like, oh, what's going on? It's like, oh, so only the 200 people that get to see this and you are excited about something? That's not exciting in general.
Yeah, I guess you are
It's
right.
exciting
say-
to you.
But it is exciting to me. Who else would I be speaking for? Am I just, whenever I'm saying something, I'm saying, oh, that's fun, but it's really just fun for me. I went to the basketball game. It was fun.
Right.
It was just fun for me.
me.
Yeah,
I would
you
have
have to do
said,
that.
oh, this is exciting news for me.
Yeah, I do that a lot. And
Because
people,
then everyone else is listening going, oh, what's exciting? Can we share in the excitement? And no, unless you're at the Elysian on these Saturday nights.
Okay.
The Elysian Theater, seeing Eli Leonard's Good Showbiz, you're not gonna be excited about what you can't do.
No, I understand. It is exciting for me. And I just really didn't know that was something I'd need to qualify if I was talking about something that had to do with myself, which, by the way, I'm uncomfortable doing.
Here's some really exciting news for me, Eli, and those of you in Huntington, Long Island who can see us. See, I'm qualifying. I'm
That was nice.
specifying.
That was nice.
Who could see us at the Paramount Theater, big Hanukkah show.
Mazel tov.
There's still tickets available. Montreal,
I think
Boca,
maybe just
Skokie.
15 tickets left.
Not a lot of tickets,
Right,
but
okay.
there's enough tickets where I'm going to announce that because I want to be sold out by the time we hit the stage. Sold out.
We need to be sold out.
It's really an exciting thing to see us live. If you think we're
For the people who get to see it.
for the excited, lucky people.
Yeah.
So come see us there and follow us. Then you see where we are. Follow Stars of David. Follow Elon Gold. Follow self_Eli.
Eli, yep.
And go to elongold.com for tickets. And Stars of David with me, Elon Gold. Speaking of him and Eli Leonard, is a production of Unpacked, a division of Open Door Media. Subscribe to Stars of David wherever you're listening to this podcast. And full episodes are available to watch. You can look at us, too.
Whoa.
You can watch all these episodes and other great shows on the Unpacked channel on YouTube. And most of all, be in touch. I don't know why it says most of all. That's least of all. Least of all, be in touch with us. I'd rather you watch than be in touch.
Right.
Least of all, be in touch with us. Write us at Stars of David at JewishUnpacked.com. But really, do stay in touch. Send us your fetches. Do whatever you got to do.
Even if you just have a question, honestly, just a question at all, maybe we'll do a feedback episode. A feedback or a question episode. Something for us, something just for us, something that's just for us.
As always, we end with a good yontif and a Jewish song. And I think with the Yiddish word of the week being bench, what better than to sing she. Rabotai, what? I'm not going to do the real thing. It's blasphemous.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, you give up.
Yeah, and for those of you that are they making fun? Are they mocking?
Oh,
No, we're honoring.
We're loving it.
Embracing it.
We're absolutely loving it.
Emphasizing it. And but we can't do the real thing, so
I
we have to
understand.
gibberish it.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Baruch.
Okay.